Okay, so the first Joker that I'm starting out with is actually Jack Nicholson, and this is one of my favorite Jokers. I just recently saw his rendition of the Joker. I had never seen it before, and it was really exciting to me because it was around the time that I created this makeup tutorial, and it just like really helped me put everything together. But as you can see, I first sketched out where his suit was gonna go just to make sure everything was perfect before I went in with paint. And all the paints I'm using, of course, are Mehron paints, and I did end up changing the orange a bit to make it a little lighter. I added a little bit of white to it, but I did start on the outside with purple, and then I went in with the teal, which I also had to mix actually, and then I did the orange, which I mixed as I just said, and I did the rest of the purple. This just helped me like figure out exactly where the flaps should go. Now I'm just doing some shading with some eyeshadows. I first use a color close to the color of the paint, and then I go in with like a grayish color to make it even more defined and just make it look more three-dimensional and realistic, I guess. And for the bow tie, I did the same thing. I took a teal first, then I went in with a grayish taupey color, and then I also went in with black, I believe, to make it even extra defined and look three-dimensional. Now I'm going in with the white, which of course is extremely patchy, and at this time I didn't realize that using a beauty blender would actually help it look less patchy, but whatever. This rendition of the Joker does actually have his own eyebrows. I went in with the green though, just to shade them in and make it more match my hair more, I guess. I think his eyebrows were actually green, but I was going off a picture and I couldn't really tell. And then I went in with the gray eyeshadow for the eyes. He only had a very little bit of makeup on, to be honest. And then I went in with the same gray eyeshadow for the wrinkles. For the lips, I went in with a red lip liner and just did his iconic Joker smile. And that completes the Jack Nicholson Joker, one of my favorites. The next Joker I'm doing is the cartoon Joker, and this was a lot of fun for me. I'd never seen the Joker as a cartoon, to be honest. I was going off a picture. I wanted to do the original cartoon, which actually came after Jack Nicholson. The suit is very similar to Jack Nicholson's Joker though, so I did the exact same thing, and I outlined it first in eyeliner, and then I went in with the purple, and I mixed the same shades to make the orange. The tie looks a lot more cartoonish. It's not as realistic. I didn't do any shading. I just outlined it in black paint just to, you know, accentuate everything and make sure everything looked a little bit more defined, but still cartoonish. So no shading and no eyeshadow needed for this. Drawing his suit was so much easier than Jack Nicholson, but at this point I was honestly an expert at body painting because I have been doing it so much for like the Jack and Sally that I've been doing, the Harley Quinns that I did. Well, actually I did Harley Quinn after this one, I believe. I don't remember exactly. But anyway, I'm continuing by gluing down my eyebrows and setting them with powder. I have since learned how to do my eyebrows, how to cover my eyebrows a lot better, but this Joker doesn't have eyebrows because he has big eyes instead. But at this point I realized going in with a beauty blender with the white would be a lot easier. And then I traced out his mouth with eyeliner first, like a white eyeliner, so I could erase it. And I did actually end up erasing it, thank God, because it didn't look quite right. And before I went in with the red, I mixed this yellow because his teeth were quite yellow. It's kind of gross, but I ended up mixing that yellow shade to make his teeth a little bit yellow and outlining his teeth in black. It was very, you know, square and kind of robotic looking, I guess, teeth, because it's a cartoon, right? Now I'm going in with that same yellow, and I ended up setting it with a really gold eyeshadow for his eyes. And basically I did the triangles in yellow first, and then I outlined the triangles in black to make them more triangular, obviously. And I finished off with the little details, and that's it for cartoon Joker. The next Joker is my absolute favorite. This is the Heath Ledger Joker, and he is definitely gone too soon. Such a talent, very sad. My husband and I recently rewatched The Dark Knight after I did this because it was just so inspiring to be able to create him and watch it right there in the flesh. But as you can see, I went ahead and traced his suit again. His suit was actually more complicated than Jack Nicholson because he's also wearing a vest, and his tie had like a lot more detail. So I tried to do all the detail. I first outlined everything in purple, obviously, and then I did the green for the vest, and then his shirt was like a grayish silver color, which I didn't have, so I had to mix black and white, obviously. And then I did his tie first in black, and I actually went over it with other colors later on. You're gonna see that. I don't know why I did the flaps last, but it just helped me kind of figure out exactly where the flaps go when I'm going in with the eyeshadow, as you see here. And I'm doing the shading of the collar in the vest now. And yes, I was eating food while I was doing this because this one took me a long time. This Heath Ledger one Probably took me the longest except for the next one, which you're gonna see. I first thought his tie was made out of camo print, but I don't know, it just had like a weird pattern. So I just went in with like a more silver paint, and I also went in with green and just kind of blended those all together. And I like the way it came out. It's not exactly his exact tie, but it's okay. I went ahead and covered my eyebrows, which I still hadn't really mastered at this point, but since then I have, I promise you. And then I went in with the Mehron Sin Wax, which honestly does what you see on my face naturally. I didn't have to try to do anything. I just don't understand how people get it flat. I really don't understand. It's so hard to do, but that's gonna help with the scarring that Heath Ledger has in the Joker. And then I went in with black eyeshadow. His eyeshadow is definitely way more defined than any other Joker, so I went in with black. I also did his wrinkles in like a brownish taupey shade. He has a lot of wrinkles by his eyes and the, you know, smile lines. And then I went in with the red paint for on top of the Sin Wax, which it makes it look more 3D and actually real, like he has his scars very similar to the way he has it. And that's it for the Heath Ledger Joker, who is my favorite. I absolutely love him, and I hope you liked it too. The next Joker I'm doing is the Jared Leto Joker, who is honestly my least favorite Joker, but I can appreciate his artistry, the artistry that went behind creating him, and I really wanted to do it, and I wanted to do it full out. This one, it took me about 10 hours to do. I'm not exaggerating. It was insanely complicated to do his tattoos and stuff, but as you can see, I just went with a light coat of the paint, and then I sketched out all the tattoos that he had, and then I went over it with a black paint. So here you can see I'm doing the star, which honestly, why is the star the most complicated thing about this whole thing? I cannot draw a star for the life of me. The skull is not exactly like his, but I tried because at first I did it on the wrong side, and then I had to erase it, and then I did it on the right side, but then I got confused with the mirroring, but whatever. I went in with some shading as well, just to make it even more defined the way he has it on his actual body. For the movie, I did the other tattoos with the stack of cards, and it says all in, and it took me forever to realize what it actually says, but whatever. And then I did the ha ha ha, and I did the more shading in, and he has a scar on his face as well. And then I just lined his lips with the MAC lip liner, and I think this is Brick. I didn't show me doing the hand because it took me like 5 hours to do, and honestly I didn't do it at the right angle, but I'm still so proud of how this turned out. The very last Joker is the modern Joker. This is the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, and I still haven't seen the movie, so no spoilers in the comments, please. But as you can see, I'm sketching out his suit, which seems a little less complicated than most of them, at least the Heath Ledger one, and it's red, which, by the way, red body paint does not come off, so I'm pretty upset about that. I'm still scrubbing this off to this day, but I did the outline in red, and I did the teal. I had to mix colors again, and I did the more goldy orange color for his vest, and I did the same shading in as I did with all the other Jokers except for the cartoon one and the Jared Leto one. But I decided I wanted to do some highlights as well, so as you can see, I did the points with like white face paint, and then I took the face paint, which he doesn't have everywhere actually. It stops like at his forehead, at least from the pictures I've seen. That's where it stops, and I went in with the blue to do the triangles, which they were very uneven, but I can't deal with the unevenness, so I tried to do them as even as possible with still looking like a clown situation. And then for the red, I used the Jeffree Star liquid lipstick in the shade Red Rum. I did the eyebrows, the nose, and the entire mouth with this, I believe, and his mouth is pretty extended. His smile, I guess, not his mouth, well, I guess it would be his mouth, but his scars are a little bit more cartoonish, and I could really appreciate the artistry that went behind creating his as well. But yeah, that's it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed my interpretation of the evolution of the Joker. I know there's a lot more Jokers, like there's the comic Joker and whatever, there's a lot of Jokers, but this was so much fun to do, and I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps me a lot, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.